Welcome back, all my 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ here with Tim's Nation to bring you yet another video for my cronies. And today I'm going to be covering the last of the non-named Crypteks and saving the best for last. And this is my opinion, the Technomancer is the best of the Crypteks. And I mean that even for the named ones. And I know there may be some that argue Orkin, the Orkin man, is the better one with the fact that he gives the 4-up invulnerable save. But in my opinion, the Technomancer is number one. And I will be covering those reasons why in this video. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do, and turn on the bell for notifications to get notified on all the content we bring here on the channel. So let's jump right into the Technomancer, starting off with his stats. And just like all the other Technomancers, he comes with a 5-inch move, toughness 4, 4-up save, 4 wounds, 6-up leadership, and objective control value 1. He is armed with a Staff of Light, which functions as a gun and a melee weapon with the ballistic skill and weapon skill both of 4. The shooting version has 3 shots, strength 5, AP 2, 1 damage, while the melee option is 2 attacks, strength 5, AP 2, 1 damage. While this may not seem very impressive, this is not the reason you take him. Everything else that this guy brings to the table is why you take him. Now, much like all the other Crypteks, he can join the same 3 units, Lich Guard, Necron Warriors, and Immortals. What makes this guy unique, though, is he is the only one that can actually have access into Lone Operative just by himself. So let's jump over into his abilities. First of all, the Technomancer comes with Rites of Reanimation. While this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have a 5-up Feel No Pain. Stop right there. That alone is awesome, amazing, easy, simple. Take him, put him in a squad, bam, 5-up Feel No Pain. So, well, while now stumbling over this here, we got Orkin given a 4-up invuln, which we'll be covering him in the next video. But why would the 5-up Feel No Pain be better than an invuln? And that reason, there's a couple of reasons to go into that. First of all, Lich Guard had the ability to take a shield, which means that if you give a 4-up invuln to a unit with a 4-up invuln, it does nothing. And that right there is one of the primary reasons why I think the Technomancer is the best of the Crypteks, because he is the only one that can go into any unit and give them a perk. Now, is that enough weight? Is that enough weight to go over for the 4-up invuln and what Orc can bring to the table? Let's go back in and cover the rest of this. So, the rest of the Technomancer, he also has, at the end of your movement phase, you can select one friendly Necron model within 3 inches of the bearer. That model regains up to D3 lost wounds. Each model can only be selected once for this ability, or selected for this ability once per turn. So multiple Technos can't heal multiple things, but Doomsday Arcs, Ghost Arcs, Monolith, any of these things that are healing off reanimation protocols that might be getting a boost from the Canoptic Reanimator as well, now have another additional boost from a guy that can just sweep over there and give you an additional D3 wounds right there. That's very nice, and nice in twofold, because now we got to go over its Wargear, because Wargear is very important here. So for the Wargear option, you have one of 2 of these you can take. You can either take a Canoptic Cloak, which gives the bearer has Fly keyword, which not really relevant anymore, and Fly's not as good as it used to be. The Lone Operative ability and a move characteristic of 10. I mean, so he can just float around the field, healing things all by himself. This is also a awesome place to put the Sovereign, so that you can have that count as character effects on a guy that's able to move 10 inches and keep up with your army. And then on top of it, again, Lone Operative. Now, if you have a lot of Canoptic units, you can give him the Canoptic Control Node, which gives him a 6-inch aura of +1 to hit for all Cryptek units. So in a build that has a lot of Cryptek units, Wraiths, the Doomstalkers, which I love, a way to get around taking the Sovereign, which would cost you points, versus the Cryptek control node, which doesn't, is taking the Cryptek control node. The Technomancer can attach into the squads either way, whether you give him the Cryptek cloak or you give him the control node. But with him being in that, and some would say, why would you want to give him the cloak in a unit? There's a couple reasons. But first, let's finish off with the aura of +1 to hit, because there's two ways that you can give this to him. He's an excellent target for the Sovereign, because 9 times out of 10, one of the best places for him to be, there's so many great places for this guy to go. I mean, Squad of Necron Warriors, Lich Guard with shields. I mean, even Immortals. Giving Immortals a 5-up feel no pain is pretty nice. But with the Warriors and the Lich Guard, this is a guy who can hang back with that unit that might be slower moving and give off the Cryptek control node aura to all of these Cryptek units that you may have in the backfield. Now, if you're not going with a lot of Cryptek units, maybe you're running the Doomsday Arcs or heavy destroyers and such. Now, granted, destroyers do have a couple better options when it comes to the Sovereign, but this is still an excellent choice for the Sovereign because of usually his backfield role. You can give him the Veil. You could give him or another character within the unit the Veil and pick the unit up and drop it down closer. But you also have a very, very strong, slow, trudgerous unit support. With a lot of the units in Necrons having a 5-inch move, pretty much most of the units that he can join, you're able to keep units near him to be able to still get those buffs. The Sovereign or the Cryptek control node, depending on what version you're trying to do. So, and then because of his inherent feel no pain that he's giving to the squad, it means that there's a lot more durability there. I personally love running a Techno with a 10-man squad of Lich Guard with shields. That means that you get the best of both worlds, the 4-up invuln as well as the 5-up feel no pain, making them very, very tough to move. In that scenario, I also have a Cryptek control node on mine because 3 Cryptek Doomstalkers. Now that allows me to use these guys over in one basis. What's cool about this and what I've been liking with this is that still gives me the Sovereign. I'm still able to purchase that and put that on something else. But that unit that I put that on something else can now control a different flank of guns, allowing me to have my Cryptek control node with my Doomstalkers on one flank and all of my heavy destroyers or other units on another flank, so that my opponent can't just screen in a wall that one distinct area. So that's really, and that's, to me, that's the most important part of why the Technomancer is so good. He's able to buff other shooting units outside of just the Sovereign, which, that's one thing. None of the other ones can do that. Minus Xeris having a buff there as well. But he's able to buff that hit roll and buff the hit roll of different units and bring the different power to the table. And this is another reason why I like the Doomstalkers so much, because of the fact that Doomstalkers can pick up off this Cryptek control node and be on a different flank so that you're not able to be funneled as much and have screens able to block you out from where you're trying to go. Now, we do have some mobility with stuff like the Monolith and the Veil of Darkness and these things that are able to move us and some units that are quicker. But this is a way to spread your army out without having to push as far into your opponent. The Technomancer is just, I just love him. Every which way around it, he is a great unit. I personally, in my opinion, the Technomancer is the best of the best. You can put him with Necron Warriors and give a huge boost to their defense. Yes, a 4-up save is kind of rough, and to see some of the AP values and things like that, it makes it somewhat tough to really be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? It makes it tough to really be able to maintain them as much. But now you kind of put into your opponent a mental mind game with it a little bit. Are you going to shoot your high damage weapons at my Necron warriors? Or are those going to go into other targets? Because a multiple damage weapon is going to trigger you to have to roll multiple dice for the feel no pain. Even though you're a 1 wound model, if you get hit by a 2 damage weapon, you still have to roll 2 dice for each damage to the guy and pass both of them to keep him alive. Now, with some of the weapons having lower AP values, when you look at the 4-up invuln component of Orkin that he gives to that, that's going to lock you on that 4-up. Okay, that's awesome. That's great. But now, when you get shot at by a weapon that has AP 0, 4-up, AP 1, 4-up, AP 2, 4-up, all the way through, doesn't matter the damage on it because as soon as you fail to save, the guy is removed. Now, when we look over at the armor save and the feel no pain, because you wouldn't be able to have Orkin and a Technomancer on the same unit. So when we look at that portion of it, if you get hit by AP 0, you're a 4-up save. If you're in cover, you have a 4-up or potentially even a 3-up save in some of those scenarios. When you fail them, now you have your feel no pain. If it's AP 1, it's going to put you on a 5-up. But then you have your feel no pain. So this turns it around into a game that now your opponent has to make a lot more crucial decisions on what weapons they're going to put into Necron warriors and can actually really pull out and draw out some of the weapons they may not have wanted to dedicate just to Necron warriors. And it really just all around is just such a significantly bigger boost. Now, when we talk about the Lich Guard and we talk about Orkin, which we're going to talk about him a lot more in the later video, the 4-up invuln on the spears is awesome because it's able to give them more durability. Having a 4-up invuln on Necron warriors is still very, very good. Don't get me wrong. That is still great. And if you've had great success with it, fine. Keep running that. For me personally, the numbers that I like to see is giving me more opportunities to roll dice. And unless you are looking at AP 4, 5, 6, you need to be AP 3. Sorry, I had to do the math there. You would have to be AP 3 to knock my save out entirely. AP 3 and not have it in cover. Even on that shot of 5-up saves, 6-up, you're getting kind of wimpy with it. But a 5-up save on a 1 damage weapon means you got a 5-up save and then a re-roll it for feel no pain on a 5-up. And then all the other triggers with Ghost Arcs and the Reanimator and Stratagems and all these things to just make these guys never want to die. And that's my belief on why the Technomancer is the best of the Crypteks, that he is number 1. Even against the name Crypteks, this guy is number 1. You can feel no pain for days. I mean, just basic stat line. The Canoptic Cloak, I feel like it's good for it, but losing the Canoptic Control node, Canoptic Cloak is nice if you want to put the Sovereign on a guy. Hexmark is always a good option for the Sovereign because he has Lone Operative. And I feel like that's a similar thing for the Techno because of Lone Operative and a 10-inch move. It allows him to stay in that perfect position and heal those vehicles or units that may not normally get that. So, I mean, there's not enough good things I could say about this dude. And he's coming in at, what's his cost total? I know he's not expensive. 60 points. 60 points for a 5-up feel no pain for a 20-man brick of warriors. I mean, that to me, that's just awesome sauce for days. All right, guys, we got one more video to cover here, and I'll be bringing that soon, where we cover the named Technomancers. Or, I'm sorry, the named Cryptek. I'm so hyped up on the Technomancer, where we cover the named Crypteks, specifically Orkin and Xeris, and what they can do. And I'll be happy, little spoiler alert on this one, Xeris is very, very good right now. Unique builds, but still very good now. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.